Gege has absolutely destroyed and tarnished Megumi's character. This is an idea or even a concept that I've been seeing thrown around a lot pretty much ever since Yorozu got absolutely slaughtered. And from then on, that's what a lot of people have been saying. The fact that a lot of his potential has been wasted, that his character has been completely sidelined, and that it has just been completely destroyed. And some people are even saying just ruined completely. That Gege is trying to force upon, let's say, an evil Megumi just for the sake of having an evil Megumi, right? Or that he's just absolutely destroyed Megumi's character just to up the stakes to the Gojo vs Sukuna fight, or just using Megumi's entire abilities and destroying his character just to make Sukuna strong enough to beat Gojo, and so on and so forth. I've seen a lot of different takes go around, and a lot of them are pretty hot takes. Specifically, a lot of people actually questioning Gege's writing and attacking it even, which is really crazy to see, to be honest. But today I will be tackling that question and answering it. Did Gege actually ruin Megumi's character, or are people just overreacting, or is there actually some merit to what people are saying? So be sure to watch to the end. Of course, leave a like, it does help out, and hey, subscribe for a ton of JJK content such as live streams, power scaling, even spoiler videos. So if you love that stuff, hey, subscribe. Of course, thank you to the honored one and special members of the channel. Thank you guys very much. Alright, so the first couple things I will be addressing is the actual cause of concern, right? Megumi's character is ruined. Why did this start, and what are people saying? Because it is important to actually address that before I actually give my opinion on this, since I know there are a lot of viewers who aren't actually fully in the community, or at least don't see some parts of the community and might even be questioning, people don't say that, what are you talking about? Even though it is something I've seen hundreds if not thousands of people say over the past couple months. So what I'm getting at is it's actually a lot of Megumi fans who are really upset that all the potential that Megumi had, all of his character, not only was it done so dirty, I mean his sister was slaughtered, his body was stolen, he's crying, he's down in a little cocoon. It's all that EOS or end of series potential that Megumi had, both in terms of his character and also the power scaling part, you know, two different kind of fan bases, both upset over what was lost over Megumi. They just don't like that we're probably never gonna see it. The fact that we never got to see Megumi grow into a very powerful sorcerer, we never actually got to see him fight in the final arc and do all this great stuff. But what's more upsetting is the fact that Megumi's character was, let's just say in quotes, assassinated just for the sake of the plot. That's a really big reason. Since we know Gege is a insanely plot focused author, and again, this is not a bad thing, it's just his writing style, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, it's just what he does. He likes to prioritize the plot and the plot alone, and especially the action parts. He cuts out a lot of character moments, a lot of character interactions, and a lot of that kind of thing. Not to say that it doesn't happen, there are definitely some great character moments, probably some of the greatest moments in all of Jujutsu Kaisen are actually character moments, such as the Zenin slaughter or Yuji's moment where he says, I did it right. The best ones are actually character moments, but it's the fact that a lot of it is actually just skipped over, or we just don't see a lot of it, and especially the character interaction side. Now again, whether you think this is good or bad, it's purely subjective. What you can't argue is that it doesn't work. In terms of the format that Gege publishes JJK, which is a weekly format, this type of format where he makes every chapter a super hype chapter, super great chapter, just going over every single bit of juicy, meaty stuff every chapter, it does work in a week-to-week format. As we're seeing, JJK is not only the biggest it's ever been, but it is currently the biggest manga, or at least one of the biggest manga in the world, unquestionably, both in terms of its impact online, how many people are talking about it, and especially in terms of sales. It is just unrivaled in popularity. And I just want to say as well, Gege has said that this is how he writes the story. In his own words, what he aims to do every chapter is to make the most hype and crazy chapter week to week. That is his own words, though paraphrased just a bit. But the consequence of this is that a lot of things, again, as I've said, is skipped over, and one of the big ones is Megan. There are a lot of things that we just never got to see and will never get to see because he just wanted to progress the plot and to make Sukuna stronger and to also free Yuji and do all that stuff. Now this is again what people are saying. I'm not saying any of this, and just to clarify, I'm not saying he's a bad author. On the contrary, I think he's probably one of the greatest authors right now that's out there. Not to glaze him too much, you know. And yes, a lot of Megumi fans just don't like this, that this is the reason, you know, just to make hype chapters or to increase the plot, or especially to make Sukuna stronger, to sacrifice all of that, you know, all of the Megumi stuff, just to progress all of this and to make these hype chapters. And a lot of people are worried that we'll never actually get to see the Megumi character resolution, or there's a lot of things we actually just will never see because we know JJK is ending this arc, and even if things go in the best way possible, which I will discuss soon, even if all that happens, we probably won't see a lot of things from Megumi ever. And that is why people are saying Megumi's character has been assassinated, it's been ruined, for the sake of the plot, for the sake of Sukuna, for the sake of Yuji or Gojo, or so on and so forth. And you know, I get it, if you're a Megumi fan, it is pretty rough to see this, you know, shout out my guy Blaziken. But now let's move into the second half of the video. Is this true, and what could happen for Megumi, and then also my thoughts on the Matsuba, because so far I haven't actually said any of my opinions yet. To begin with, there is still hope for Megumi's character that we may see some great stuff. I actually think we might have the potential to see one of the greatest moments in JJK from Yuji and Megumi if certain things go the way that I think it will. So for example, one of the ways is if Yuji actually enters Megumi's soul or enters that part of the space. As we've seen, he can actually swap souls, so who knows, maybe that's possible because he's a cursed object. And then he gives, let's say, a sort of pep talk, so he enters that kind of inner shadow realm that we saw Megumi was curled up in a ball, and he gives him that talk where it's like, oh, you know, it's depressing, it's tough, but it's also is, we gotta move. I don't know, listen, I'm not a motivational speaker, as you can see, so don't look at me for that kind of stuff, but I'm sure Yuji would whip up an amazing speech, especially one where I know what I'm saying, it sounds so shonen-y, it sounds so generic, and it really is as well. But that's the thing about Gege, he can turn these insanely shonen simple concepts and tropes, especially the writing ones, and just turn them into phenomenal character moments, as we've seen time and time again. I'm sure if Gege wrote this moment, he would actually write it completely masterfully. And you know, so maybe he would actually give Megumi some character there, we'll see a lot of depth into Megumi, maybe a flashback, and he'll say he wants to give up. His spirit comes back, and then he teams up with Yuji to defeat Sukuna inside the inner soul, at least that part of Sukuna. That's an idea there. Or then there's always the possibility where Sukuna might take another body, and then Megumi's free that way, and then Megumi can continue fighting that way. So at the very least, it's not completely over. However, on the flip side, there's the kind of unfortunate part for Megumi where maybe, just maybe, it's possible that Megumi won't actually be freed until Sukuna is actually defeated, you know. And if that's the case, we'll only see Megumi again the next time when he's on death's door, when Sukuna's died, and we see Megumi's dying, and he gives his last words to Yuji or something like that. And truly, we never actually fully get to see Megumi again. Maybe he'll do some inner fighting inside of Sukuna, but he'll just end up dying without really doing too much other than helping the main cast from the inside, and then that's that for his character. It's just a kind of a tragic end. If that happens, well, it will be very tough to defend that, I really can't lie. Okay, but what do I actually think? What is my opinion on this? So in my opinion, I actually think if it goes down the first route that I said, I don't think his character's ruined, I don't think it's assassinated or destroyed. I actually think that would just completely redeem his character a lot, bring it to a lot of conclusions, and maybe we'll also get a touch onto the whole Tsumiki thing, because I don't think that's completely over yet as well. There is this whole theory where maybe Tsumiki's soul's inside the weapon that Yorozu gave him, or this, that, and the other. But even if that's not the case, just seeing Megumi think back on that moment, maybe break down and saying, you know, oh, I had to kill my sister, this, that, and the other, and then he goes through that and he gets over it somehow, right, with some character development. Yeah, that would be more than enough for me. Then just seeing him progress into his final EOS state, and then seeing how he turns out into the end, I don't think his character would be ruined. Now, is it a shame with how things went? I will say yes, and obviously that's because Gege wants to end the story really quickly. In an ideal world, let's say JJK went on for a couple hundred chapters, right, and we had a lot more time to flesh out Megumi's character and a lot more arcs to explore him, you know, give him some character challenges, have his character go through a lot of things and see how he changes and reacts to it. But JJK isn't going to be going on for that much longer. This is the final arc. It is ending very soon, and as sad as that is, at least it's ending on Gege's terms. At least he's not being forced to stretch it out for 1,000 chapters or anything like that. You know, it would be great if he wanted to do, I'm sure, of course, Shueisha and Shonen Jump are probably begging him to do something like that, but since he wants to end it at this point, at this pace, hey, it's his choice, it's his story. The best we can do is respect his vision as an author. Even though we may have our own personal preferences, you know, maybe some of us wanted a bigger world, or some of us wanted more characters, or this, that, and the other, and there's nothing wrong with that if you just personally prefer something, not to say that it'd make it better or worse, you know, just your personal preference. But hey, it's Gege's story, and as long as he does it the way he wants, there's nothing more I could ask for. And on the whole concept of people calling him a bad author, or people calling him a godlike author who can't make any mistakes, which he is a great author, I do think both sides need to really relax, because it is so extreme where you could even just say a personal preference, not even a criticism, right? Just a slight personal preference, and get absolutely roasted from people online just defending Gege with their lives, right? It is just insane. Like, it's madness. People actually treat him like a god. And on the flip side, you have some people hating on him, saying he's a garbage author, he can't write, he's making so many mistakes. I'm like, if that's the case, you know, JJK wouldn't have so many fans, it wouldn't have so many people interested, and it wouldn't be selling this well. Clearly, he is a fantastic author who is doing a lot of things right. But yeah, both sides, you know, people who defend him to death and don't allow him to have any form of criticism, and those who just hate on him a lot and just despise everything he does. Trust me, just avoid people like that. They're absolutely insane. The reality is, he's a great author, not just a great one actually, a very great one of the best in his industries. And yeah, you could probably nitpick a few things as you can do with any author that has ever existed and that has ever written anything. That's fine, you know, everyone's human. And there's always things people are going to disagree with or maybe not like, and that's totally cool as well. But yeah, you really got to respect just what he's written and just how well he's written it. And everything he has done of this series. And I kind of got into this whole gay talk, I guess, at the end. It is what it is, it just kind of happened naturally. And I know this is about Megumi, and in conclusion, yeah, you heard my conclusion about Megumi. I think it's potentially not ruined. I mean, even if it goes the worst route possible, would it be a shame? Yeah, it really would be a great shame, but I have faith Gege wouldn't do that. I really truly have faith in him as an author. I just know he has got something special planned for Megumi, and I cannot wait to see what he does. But yeah, that's pretty much the video. If you did enjoy it, hey, leave a like, it really does help out. And also subscribe for a ton more JJK content like this, and of course, thank you to all members of the channel as well. Thank you guys very much, and that's all. Take care.